Hey guys, it's Bill Vinci and Ryan Vinci from No Time for Nonsense. I'm going solo tonight. Ryan's got the night off tonight, but I am joined by longtime friend Fran DiClemente. Fran, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. We're not live from my basement. We're live from Raymond James Stadium down in Tampa tonight. We're in a remote area. As you can see behind me, we got the stadium. So I'm in one of those suites, kind of looking at the stadium, packed house tonight. We're getting ready for football. No,
All right.
I'm just kidding. So how you doing, man?
Good.
Yeah.
Fine. Hanging in there.
Yeah, I hear you. How are you doing through all this?
It's okay. It's an adjustment, staying working from home, which, I'm lucky I still have a job. So
Yep. Absolutely. Well, guys, before we get started, we got some great sponsors for tonight's show. I kind of want to run through. So I want to thank our sponsors for tonight's show for No Time for Nonsense with Fran DiClemente. I want to thank Out of the Way Cafe and Matt Grabsky. Matt, hometown favorites with a twist, offering breakfast, lunch. Come check out their Twisted Eggs Benedict and Cuban-style sandwiches. You got to give Matt a call, man. He's downtown Utica. You can give him a buzz at 315-733-5060. Also want to thank Geddes Bakery in North Syracuse. Geddes has been around serving the community since 1957. They take pride in using the freshest ingredients, and everything is baked with love. Give them a call at 315-437-8084. Also want to thank Danti Construction, locally owned in Rome, New York. They do all types of stuff with your house. They do kitchen, baths, windows, doors, and much more. Give Dan Danti a call at 315-225-2425. Want to also thank Zensations, specializing in Swedish massage, orthopedic, hot stones, massage, cupping, and spa treatment. Located in Rome, New York, you can call April Cacciatore and make an appointment with her at 315-339-9100. And our last one, Lou's Bargain Bin. They have the lowest prices anywhere. They handle roofing, siding, doors, flooring, windows. They do so much more. Great people. Contact Lou at 315-336-0796, located in Rome, and you can give Lou a call. So, guys, thank you for sponsoring. I can see, Fran, we got a lot of people on right now. Geez, Bobby Taylor's on. John Pappas. John said hello. How you doing, Johnny?
Hello.
Thanks for tuning in. So tonight's show, a little different than what we've been doing. We've had some former athletes on, and we've talked a lot about their careers and stuff. But tonight's going to be a fun show tonight. I'm looking forward to this, Frank, because we go back. God, we got to go back to, fourth grade when I first met you?
Yeah, it's about 40 years.
About 40 years ago when we first met on that school bus. Hey, Jimmy Buffett. Hey, what's going on, Brian? How you doing, buddy? So that first experience with me was pretty interesting, right?
Yeah. So
yeah, Fran's got a pretty good story on how we actually met, which you want to tell that story.
Which is good because, I'm not a famous athlete, but I have the unauthorized Bill Vinci biography. So here we go. It's like, meeting on a school bus, and we're probably like in fourth grade, maybe like 1979. You were going to Transfiguration. I was going to DeWitt.
Yep.
And so it was a packed bus, and you were sitting in the front row, and there was no other seat. So I sat down, and you had this sports book with you. And it was like a picture book that you spread out, and it had pictures of like Gale Sayers and Jim Brown and Mickey Mantle and Yogi Berra. And you're making comments about every single one of them. And you get to Red Auerbach. Of course, Red Auerbach was the Boston Celtics coach and I think general manager, won a bunch of NBA championships with John Havlicek and Bill Russell. And he's smoking a big cigar, huge cigar. And you're making comments and everything. And you get to Red Auerbach and you say, look at this guy. He's smoking a big fat C-O-C-K. And I had never heard that word before. I didn't know what it meant. I literally didn't know what it meant.
That's my introduction to you.
That was it.
Red Auerbach looks like he's smoking a big dick in his mouth with that cigar about this big.
Yeah.
What the freak? See, now here's the thing. I'm coming from a Catholic school. You're coming from a public school, and I'm making all the
right. You had a sweater on, black sweater, black shoes.
Yeah.
Up
Yeah.
and,
Yep, Auerbach looks like he's got a big cock in his mouth with that
Yeah.
stupid cigar.
that's
That's our introduction, and now 40 years later, we're still hanging out. So I couldn't have
Right.
scared you off too much.
No, and then like a day after, your mom called my mom and said, "Hey," my mom yelled to me like, "Some boy named Billy wants you to go over his house and play." And then we were friends ever since.
I know, isn't that crazy? How just something so crazy could turn into a lifetime friendship like that.
Right.
Just the silliest little thing. I gotta say though, Fran, like I said, Bob Taylor, why would a 10-year-old know the word?
That's a good point.
Bob, I used to steal the Playboy under the bed in the house. So I kind of peek at that stuff. So I knew that stuff. I mean, that's how I got in trouble with Transfiguration, actually. I was at a Little League game, and we had a play that night. And so my grandfather had to come to the game, and I told my nun, I'm not going to be able to make it. I can't do the play. I got a baseball game. And she goes, well, come down after. Come down, watch your students. Scott Cervola said, hey, Fran, by the way.
Hey, Scott.
So my grandpa picks me up. We go back to the school, and I'm looking for my parents in the crowd during the play. Don't see them anywhere. I said, geez, where the heck are my parents? Now, you got to remember, I'm in 4th grade. So one of the nuns goes, Billy, your parents are in your classroom. I'm like, geez, what are they doing in there? I walk into the class. I see my mom and dad standing with the nun at my desk. So I walk over, and there's the Playboy sitting on my desk that I hid in my drawer. I go, oh, shit, I'm so done. So the nun goes, so, Bill, where did you get this Playboy? And I just kind of sitting there going, under my dad's bed. I go, he wanted to freaking hang me, I said. So that's kind of, it didn't last too long. Their 4th grade, they finally had enough of me. Fran, Lisa DeCristo, those were the great days.
Yeah.
They sure were, Lisa. There's another girl, meeting her at DiClemente. So by the time I left after 4th grade to get out of Catholic school, go to public school, it was a whole new thing for me because we had quite the group over at DiClemente.
Yeah.
When I came into 5th grade, I mean, we had Miss Voisin.
Right. She was
Miss
great.
McDowell was the teacher. Then we had Mr. Lanzi.
Yeah,
one of
incredible teacher. Yeah,
favorite teachers. We did lots of stuff. And I met some great people. Lisa, Tony Grafassi, Calandras, Raganese. I know Rags was
Gene
pretty excited
Campbell.
about the show. Gene Campbell.
Right,
and,
right.
There was some really, we had a lot of fun. But you know what? DeWitt was labeled a pretty tough school back in the day. Nobody wanted to come down and mess in our part of the city.
No.
There was always fights and everything else.
But what was great, like with Mr. Lanzi, he expected a lot from you, and he expected excellence, even though we were a poorer school, and he introduced us to a lot of different things, the arts and theater and, all kinds of different things that expanded our horizons, even though we were a, poorer school.
I just got a text message from my cousin Maria. I showed her the Playboy book. I think I might have showed everybody that Playboy book. I mean, once I got it in my hands, it was like fucking gold. I just wanted to show everybody it because you got to see everything. I mean,
you got your education.
That was perfect. I mean, there's great boobs and butts and everything. It was just beautiful. Let's see. We got a couple messages coming in. Bob Taylor, ask Fran to tell you the story when Rome American All-Stars visited Rome National.
Oh, he crushed us.
Orange baseballs.
Yeah, they crushed us. I just remember that whole team, that Rome American team was stacked. Emo Montestelli and Phil Shalacy, all those, and they just came over and they destroyed us. I think it was like 9-0 or something like that. Phil was so intimidating too on the mound.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Frank DeCosti's chiming in. Hey there, cuz. Hey there, Bill. How you doing, Frank? Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
These people are going to hear these stories and go, these fucking two are nuts.
So why don't you tell them about the custodian's closet at DeWitt, since you mentioned DeWitt?
Okay, now see, this is something, I wonder if like the DeWitt kids actually knew what happened, because I don't think we really told anybody, because we could have gotten in a lot of trouble. So I know Lisa's on right now, so anybody else listening, there was a custodian closet It was on the second floor.
Right.
And I always used to like to get out of class. I used to sneak out, whether I had to go to the bathroom. But me and Fran, somehow we got out at the same time. I don't know how we did it, but we did.
Yeah.
We went in this custodian thing. So we're in there, and there's this little window. So we open it up, and it overlooks the gym. So
it was like the scoreboard at Wrigley Field or Fenway Park.
Exactly. When you
down
into
it.
Yes. Yeah, so we're looking down, and Coach Perry, Dennis Perry's down there. They got a class going, and I don't know what the fuck made me think to do this, but next thing you know, there's a garbage pail next to us, and we just start picking up garbage and firing it out the window, and it looks like
ticket tape
parade. Garbage just floating all over, coming down on the floor. I thought Coach Perry was going to go through the fucking roof, and we jetted so freaking quick. We never got caught. No. I don't know how we didn't get caught doing something like that.
No,
that was beautiful though.
Surprised he didn't know it was us. He probably did know it was us.
He probably knew it was us. And I got a good story about Coach Perry when we get to it later. But we got another chime in. Tom Ramos, Fran, I bunted in that game and got a home run. Final was 10-0.
Yeah, you crushed us.
Wow, look at that, T-Ray. And how the freak did you get a bunt home run? Must have been a lot of just firing around the bases.
Yeah.
Or you just had good speed, T-Ray.
Maybe it was a bunt and a home run.
Huh?
Maybe it was a bunt and a home run.
Could have been.
Yeah.
10-0.
Yeah, crushed.
So actually, going after DiClemente, we had a lot of fun times on the bus. Those bus rides were incredible, but hanging out at each other's house is Fran in San Francisco right now? Taylor?
No, not really.
Not really.
Just a virtual background.
Yeah, we kind of made it look nice that we were filming in beautiful locations, but I did want to say some of the things we did at each other's house. I mean, goal line stance, football, Nerf basketball.
Yeah.
Home run. We did anything sports related that we can, and we would jump from one thing to the other.
Right.
And we were really intense when we played each other. I mean, we did fights where I'd leave the house and wouldn't talk to you. I'd be pissed because you beat me. You'd be pissed I beat you. I mean, elbows and everything else. And that's the way it was, man. That's how we.
Yeah, you were like Ewing playing Nerf basketball.
I used to throw some good dunks over you and then point at you. I do that with Drew. Not so much anymore. He's as tall as me, but I would dunk on him and then I would point at him and take that, you son of a bitch, and run down the court. Let's see what we got. Bradley Burke. I just ran 20 miles in 6 minutes to say hello to you guys. Hey, Bradley.
Hello, Brad.
Buddy. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah.
So growing up, Fran, like I said, we hung out all the time. We always did all kinds of stuff. But we did have some interesting games that we went on to Yankee Stadium.
Right. So, the Yankee Stadium, the first time we went in your dad's, I think, Crimson and Cream Thunderbird. My dad, we drove down. And the interesting thing, because I looked this up, it was the day after Guidry's big 18 strikeouts against the California Angels. It was the following day. It was like Sunday, and it was bat day at Yankee Stadium in the late 70s, which was scary.
Nuts.
You're talking 55,000 people with bats.
With bats in their hand. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And what I remember on that day was I got Greg Nettles, and I traded him. I made the mistake, and I traded him for Mickey Rivers, what you had, and you got Greg Nettles. So
I know.
And
I liked Mick the Quick too. I liked him. I don't know why I made the trade with you on that.
I don't know, but then you used that bat on your house on South James Street to hit little rocks toward traffic while you're practicing your hand-eye coordination.
I did. I'd throw the rock up and hit it with the bat, and just great. That's how that's how you got a good aim at it. But I was used to aim them towards the road at cars, and I had a lot of stupid shit I did with that. And I ruined that bat. A lot of little dents.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you had dents in it.
So that was one of our Frank DeCosti. Love to hear the stories about back in the day. Oh, Frank, we could talk for hours. You would be. There's some classics. Another good one is when we went to Fenway Park in Boston.
Right. That was probably like the following year, like 79 or something like that.
Okay. Richie Bottini, Carmen Bottini. I think Benny was on that.
Yep. They got wasted in the back of the bus.
They were getting wasted playing cards in the back. And we decided after the game on the way home, because it was nighttime, that what did they have? Did they have coolers full of sandwiches?
They had coolers full of sandwiches. It was a long day, a hot day, and so everybody's back on the bus, and everybody's tired, and everybody just wants to go to sleep, and it's dark. And Vincey finds the extra sandwiches and the extra rolls and starts throwing them toward the front of the bus. And then Mr. Antonucci got upset.
I hit Mr. Antonucci with a sandwich. What made me think of just firing sandwiches at the front of the bus? I have no idea. All I can remember is him yelling.
Oh, he was pissed.
Stop throwing those goddamn sandwiches. Oh man, that was fun. That was cheese. You know what, man? There's some good Richie and Carmen. There's some other great things growing up down here when we were living down here at first. We'd always go to their house. They always had the hoop out front. We always played basketball. They always came here. We'd hang out, and there was always stuff going on, man. We were playing sports, I think, nonstop. I mean, it was just anything we could do related football, two-hand touch. We street hockey. You know, Nerf basketball, regular basketball. It was.
How about when you got in a headlock when you didn't return hockey equipment?
Yep, Bobby Rick, me and you were playing ice hockey in the back of his yard. And it was fucking cold that day, and I just was miserable. I don't like the cold. I wanted to go inside. Once we finished, Bobby goes, pick up all the equipment and bring it in. I'm like, fuck, you bring it in. It's your freaking house. So I didn't bring it in. I didn't pick any of the equipment up. Next thing you know, he's got me in a headlock, and he's grinding my head till I
That was great.
Oh, Christ. Let's see what we got here. Bob Taylor. Fran was a part of the crew that trashed your yard in the summer of '89.
Right. And that I remember because when Jeff Durso and Bob were on the show, they talked about that. And if my memory is correct, and I don't know if it is, but this is how I remember it. You, me, and Bob went to the St. John's Festival. And I think you drove. And some reason you left with some girls. They were interested in you, and they obviously weren't interested in Bob and I. And so you left us, and I think Bob and I were upset. And I think we walked back to his house and then got his car, or I got my car or whatever. And then we get with Demore and Karen, we started gathering up stuff to put on your yard. But it was payback because you left us at the festival.
Well, yeah. I got in trouble that morning, by the way. I'm in the basement sleeping, not knowing anything what went on last night after. And I hear my dad yelling upstairs, Billy, get your goddamn ass up. I'm like, what the hell did I do? I was home.
Wasn't your fault.
Not my fault. So I walk upstairs and go, what the hell is this? And I look out, and there's shit all over my freaking yard. There's mattresses. There's construction signs. There's more crap that you guys put on my yard. So he was pissed. He thought I was involved in it. I said, it wasn't me. So I had to call the city and to pay for them to come and clean it up. But I did hear about your little story before you got to my house, and I did see the video of this. So you guys...
I think it may have been a separate occasion. It may have been the same time, but I don't know.
I think Bob said it was...
But said it was the same time? Okay.
And you guys were at the gas station, and I don't know, right. you were just fired up, and next thing you know, there's some girls pumping gas, and I hear Fran's voice in the background.
Yeah, I feel terrible about this.
Show us your tits! Show us your tits!
Yes.
He's screaming.
And I hereby apologize because that's terrible. I guess I just got caught up in being with those guys and trying to fit in, and I feel bad about that. But,
did she lift her shirt?
I think she did.
See, that's what's
I think she was actually walking on James Street, and I think we were following her, and she may have been a little bit inebriated. But I do feel very guilty about that.
You got a nice show though, and. Let's see, John Pappas. Tackle football on the road during the winter was the best. Yeah, we did have some good football games between Pennyfield and, geez, I think we even played in Bob's little thing. We played there. We played wiffle ball. Taylor said you deserved it, Vincey. Thanks, Bob. I mean, there were a couple of girls involved. I had to do what I had to do right there that night. Brandon's yelling, "Let me see your tits." I'm hooking up, and you guys are filling up my yard with all kinds of junk. So, we hung out with a pretty interesting group.
Right.
Once we got to the Staley days, and when I moved uptown to North George, that's when we started really hanging out in the basement. That's when a lot of things took place. Me, you, Sean Saltz, Morello, Coley,
DiMaggio.
Taylor, Dimage, Dwayne Bennett would even come over at times and hang out. And we had some really good. I mean,
I remember we watched like Hagler and Leonard fight there. We watched the Syracuse national championship game in '87. We watched a lot of good sports there.
There was always good sports. We were always watching TV. We were always watching sports down there. I was making my homemade chicken wings, the famous.
You put the sign on your dad?
We did, yeah. That was some kind of party we were at, and I was kind of like that video camera guy where, like in the Goldbergs show, I always had the video camera. I was always recording stuff, and somebody else was recording though, I think. Because my dad was dancing downstairs, and I had a sign.
It was like a New Year's Eve or something.
It was like a New Year's Eve party, and I put a sign on the back while he was dancing, going, "Don't feed the animals." And he's dancing away, and that sign's on his back, and you're in the corner cracking up. He didn't even know it was on his back, and then he found out. You're like, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah, that was funny.
But you know what I got to say is, once we got to Stanley, once we were all hanging out there, going back, Fran, a little bit before that, I want to talk about the Franklin Field days when we played down there and how much fun that was.
Oh, yeah.
With the league. And we picked the teams, and we had the stats inside. And, oh, man.
We used to wear those, like, batting helmets, those plastic ones. You used to have different ones. You had Cleveland. You had all different teams,
That's right. Everybody picked their team. You had the stats in the after the games, you'd go inside the clubhouse, you'd get a slushie, and you see where you were in the standings, even at batting averages and stuff. And
that was great. I mean, they had ping pong over there too,
you had everything. I mean, you had basketball down where Coach Nelson was doing that in the afternoon. So
tennis.
You had everything down there, man. And it's a shame that the parks are just not the same anymore.
Yeah.
And it's pretty empty. I go by the baseball field in the summer and see, I don't know, maybe 7, 8 kids down there. And think about it, we had, for our age group, we must have 8 to 10 teams.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You think at least 9 to 10 kids on each team. That's a lot of kids.
And think about in the summertime, over the years, how many players your dad taught, over the course of that time, when he was running that down there. It was amazing.
Yeah. You always had like a lot of the high school kids helping out. I remember Archie helped. I remember Mango helped.
Gerace.
Who?
Gerace.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wish we had pictures from those days just to see some of the kids we hung out with and played with and whatnot. That was a lot of fun down there, man. I had a blast down there.
Yeah, me too.
Then we went on when we got a little bit older. Then we went to the traveling afternoon baseball. Remember, the parks would play against each other. You had Greece play. Remember that?
And the South Rome would come, and they were intense, boy.
And they were intense. I mean, they come in on their bikes and their mongooses, and
they were tough to play. They were scrappy.
They were scrappy. We got another hello, Tim Owens, Fran.
Hey, Tim, how you doing?
So once we got to Staley, now you kind of.
Well, because I went on to the next year of school, and you stayed behind. So
I decided to stay behind.
You had a few gap years.
I had a few gap years. 7th grade, I decided to stick around a couple years.
Just the answers to some of your exams were hysterical. Like science, 7th grade science, answers Jose Cruz.
Yeah, on the scan things. I used to say just screw the thing, and I just I'd make it Jose Cruz and whatnot. And I don't know. School just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
But I had fun, though.
Yeah.
I had so much fun in school when I was there. Most of the time I would skip or I'd go sit out in the bleachers. I remember one day, it was a beautiful day. I went out to the bleachers at the RFA Stadium, the football field. I got my little Walkman, and I'm listening to some music. Next thing I know, I see Evans coming across the field. And he grabs me by the ear, and he pulls me inside. He goes, "God damn it, Vincey, get inside, will you?" I used to sit out there and tan, just sit out there and get a little sun. And, oh, man, so fun. Let's see. We got another one. Bob Taylor. Does Fran remember listening to NWA with me more all summer?
Yeah, definitely. Used to like that. Driving around, that was driving around music too.
You liked NWA?
Yeah, they were pretty good. Plus something I think about being Los Angeles. I think they were kind of associated with the LA rap.
Yeah.
I was kind of interested in that.
Can't see you listen to that.
Well, you know.
That's not your thing. Tim Owens, West Rome ruled Sandlot. Oof, that's a West Rome, huh? Boy, they had some scrappers down there.
Yeah.
Now West Rome. What were they?
Was their park? Was it No, it wasn't Griesig Field.
No.
What was it? I can't think of. But there was a West Rome Park, but I can't remember.
Tim, were you guys part of the National League field, Little League? I mean, they weren't American or federal, unless they were federal. No, I don't think so. Maybe Tim could answer on that one because I can't. I'm just trying to think. They might have been. They might have been part of the National League because American was on the other side, and Rock Park was more up north. I'm kind of anxious to hear if they were part of the National League field down there. Yeah, got a lot of good stories. And then at RFA, man, is when things really got fun. You know, stealing the VCRs from the library.
See, I never was in on that.
I can't believe you missed all that good stuff.
Yeah, I don't think. I'm glad I didn't.
Tim said St. Mary's Cemetery football. Stevensfield.
Stevensfield, okay, yeah.
Stevensfield, T-Ray, okay.
Right.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Wasn't that near Stroud? Is that kind of near Stroud?
Stevensfield, no, that was down West Liberty Street.
Okay, all right.
Just before you got down to going towards like the cinema there. Stevensfield, God, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I wanted to bring up? This is going to go back a little bit ways.
Yeah.
But crank calling.
Yeah, you were the king of it.
Was one. I may have been the greatest fucking crank call person in the history of crank calling. They may have to, and they freaking ruined it by doing all this caller ID shit and everything else.
What was your go-to song to crank?
Go-to song was by Prince, When Doves Cry, just the beginning. Yeah. So if I called you and I wanted to play that beginning, if you know the song When Doves Cry, that beginning, and I would just hang up on it. And that was it. And that was just the perfect way to start the call. But crank calls.
You used to get some people who get upset at you, too.
I used to get a lot of people upset at me. We're not going to mention any names. That was the one thing we did talk about. I don't want to bring up names, but I did crank probably hundreds of people.
Yeah. And the one interesting thing later on, like on your house on North George Street, you had the phone where it was somehow a two-way system where you could call two people at the same time, and each person thought the other person was calling them.
Yep.
That would be hysterical. You'd get one guy and his mom and say, "Yeah, so Mom, what do you want? You called me. No, you called me."
Right. Yeah, you would press line 1, you dial the number, put it on hold, press line 2, dial another number, and then I'd hit connect, and then we could hear them. I mean, I did that with some of the coaches and just go, "You called me. I didn't call you. You called me. My phone rang." Yeah. And they'd go at it, and it was we
used to call Coach Perry with Marv Albert too.
Coach Perry. Oh, geez, we got a bunch. Let me catch up on a few things. Stevensfield. Tapia Klaczynski was part of Stevensfield. Yep. Bob Taylor cranked Mr. West. Taylor's throwing a name out there. Son of a gun. I did crank Mr. West. You know, though, I did call most teachers, but you know what? I wasn't a mean crank caller.
No, and most of the stuff you did, you weren't a bad kid. You were just mischievous. You know.
Yeah. I just, my crank calls were more fun.
It's kind of interesting too. You don't think of your teachers as having like a life outside of school, but then you kind of like invade in their like home time. It was fun.
Absolutely. Probably one of the best ones I used to do was Coach Perry, and I'll mention this because he knows it's me. But Coach Perry, he knew I was a huge Knicks fan, and I used to call him with the Marv Albert voice, and I did this with actually some of the other coaches too, saying that I was Marv Albert and I wanted to come down and broadcast the game from RFA. So I don't even know if I could do the voice anymore. I used to be able to do it really good, but as you get older, this is Marv Albert from Madison Square Garden. Well, anyway, we used to call Coach Perry and do that all the time, and he goes, "Hey, Marv, how you doing? I want to come down to DeWitt Clinton and broadcast the game for your 5th and 6th grade basketball team."
Yeah, that was fun.
So crank calls were good, and then once the caller IDs came in,
Yeah, it was bad.
I was done. But we did get a couple of scares on a few of them before that, saying something, I don't know, I got you recorded or something. I'm going to call the police. And
scary. Almost as scary as when you threw rocks at cars on South James Street and I hid in your sister's closet when the guy came to the house and started pounding on the door.
Talk about stupid shit.
No, that's stupid because somebody could actually get hurt.
I know. I don't know why the hell I threw rocks. I was just out of control. Frank DeCosta, guys, thanks for the stories. Got to run. Good seeing you. Stay safe. Take care, Frank. Yep. Thanks for joining us, man. Yeah, that's the thing. People can see me a little bit different. I wasn't bad in school. I just didn't like being in school. I think I really had the ADD shit where I couldn't sit still.
Probably.
I had to be out. And I could tell the teacher, can I go to the bathroom? And next thing you know, I'm gone for the day. I'm back at home. I'm in the basement. We're at the parks playing or doing something. But I never really got suspended from school and stuff. No. As much as I didn't.
They all liked you, even though you got in trouble. All the teachers liked you.
All the teachers liked me.
You were respectful to them.
I was. And it's funny. I see a lot of the teachers that I had at Planet Fitness now, and they always talk to me. They go, Bill, you were a real pain in the ass. We liked you. It was just one of them things. But, we got your sister on. You two are delinquents. Lisa, we never, you know what? Lisa was around during all this time, and we didn't really drive her that crazy, I don't think.
No.
Compared to my sister.
Herself.
I was a little afraid of Lisa.
Yeah, me too.
When I was younger. Because when she yelled at us, she yelled at us.
Yeah.
And stop. I can just remember sometimes in your house, we'd be knocking things over and we'd be so freaking loud in the basement. And I can still remember. Now that brings me to a great story. Going to Cooperstown.
Oh God, this is another one I feel guilty about. My poor dad.
This was a great trip. It was me, you, your dad, and my dad. And we went to Cooperstown, and it was the first time we ever stayed there.
Yeah, right on the strip, I think.
We stayed on the strip. Now, the store is still there, and it's probably the oldest. It was one of those stores that had all the stuff from the 70s and 80s. Right. The pennants and all that wacky stuff. So that was cool. So we stayed upstairs there. It was one of my favorite stores to shop at when we were young because they had all the teams and had all the cool things. So let me set up. It's 1984, and it's the USA Olympic baseball team that came to Cooperstown for an exhibition game against South Korea. That's right.
I looked this up, and the roster of players is pretty amazing. You got Ken Caminiti, Clark, Barry Larkin, Odabe McDowell, Mark McGuire, Greg Swindell, B.J. Surhoff. Those are just some of the players.
Wow.
Man, team.
That's a heck of a team.
Yeah.
Peggy. Hi, Fran and Bill. Mm-hmm. Peggy DeCosta. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. So we're going to start with that first because Fran had a baseball. Did you get anybody to sign it from the U.S. team?
I think I had a program. I think it was a program, maybe it was a baseball. But basically what happened, it was supposed to be an exhibition game, but it poured that day in Cooperstown. So the exhibition game was rained out. So everybody was underneath the bleacher, up in the stands, but over the awnings. And so the players from both sides came up in the stands to greet fans and sign autographs. So you can pick it up from there.
All right. So Fran had a baseball, and I don't know if it was signed already or he was hoping maybe it got signed. Well, I grabbed it from Fran. Next thing you know, I'm shoving it down to the Korean team to sign it. And he's freaking pissed. And he goes, what are you having them sign it for? I don't even know who these freaking guys are. I can't read their names or anything. So the Korean team's all signing the baseball.
Yeah, they were nice, yeah.
It was nice. You got Ichiro on that team. Matsui.
That's South Korea.
Oh, whatever the fuck. It's the same. They're in the same country. I don't know. But you might have got some good signatures on that ball. And you probably didn't even take the ball with you.
No. But the bad behavior was in the motel with Richie and my dad.
So after the game and stuff, we went downtown, whatever. We went back to the hotel that night. And me and Fran were sleeping on the floor. And my dad, I think, already passed out. But your dad was up and he was watching the horse races from Yonkers, I think it was. So we're on the floor. and your dad's kind of sitting towards the edge of the bed. Now, I don't know if he had a bet on the horse or
He
something.
probably did.
He probably did. So he's, kind of squeezing for the race. So I go, Fran, let's shut the TV off on him. And Fran's like, no, he'll get pissed. So I can remember I was
down the stretch they come.
Down the stretch they come. Here they come. And your dad's kind of sit at the edge, and I hit the off button. I thought he was going to go through the fucking roof. Fran, what the hell are you doing? Right where they were coming down the stretch, and I shut the TV off on your dad.
Yeah.
But once we got the TV back on, then we decided to be a little more crazy with him. So he is trying to sleep, and we had some change in our pockets. So next thing you know, we just start firing pennies, nickels, and they're deflecting off all the walls. And everybody, I thought your dad was going to freaking hang us.
I feel terrible.
I know. He just wanted to watch the races. He just wanted to enjoy a nice night of sleep, and we're shutting the TV off on him. We're throwing pennies all over the walls, but that was a fun trip. That's one of those stories that Christ, it was. You said it was 84?
Yeah, 84. Yeah.
Wow. And you remember that story like it was yesterday. It was so freaking funny. Let's see. Taylor just wrote some. Went to Cooperstown with Fran in 89. He was fired up because he saw John Fogerty.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
How was he playing?
I think it was just I don't know if it was an induction weekend, but it was, I think when they used to have exhibition games.
Yeah.
They had something like that, and there was a parade, and he was in a convertible. I was fired up. I mean, that was great.
Christ. Did he sing?
He may have at some point, but I just saw him on the parade with Bob. We were out there. Yeah. That was cool.
I know Bob didn't like John Fogerty.
Fogerty's awesome. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but I'm saying Bob, I'm sure, didn't care to see John Fogerty.
I think he liked it.
I don't see that happening. He was in the parade. Oh, he was in a parade. Bob said, "Bob, do you like John Fogerty?" I can't believe you.
Creedence, come on! How can you not like it?
No, not my kind of music.
You're terrible.
Not really. So that was our Cooperstown trip. So that was a lot of fun. But you know what I was thinking about earlier, and I wrote this down. It came up in my head was Fran Allison basketball.
Oh boy, you were the worst cherry picker. I was like the point guard, and you were the two guard, and you're supposed to help me bring up the ball. And every single time the ball would be inbound, I'd be trying to dribble it up court, and you'd run down cherry pick, Fran, throw me the ball. And then these guys are swarming me, and I'd turn the ball over, and I'd get yelled at or pulled from the game. It was Vinci, all the way down the court.
But I did have some nice layups, though.
Yeah,
you got it to me.
With your wristbands.
Get the wristbands on, high socks, short shorts.
And Bernard King tape on your fingernail.
On the fingers. Yeah, that was Stally. Jesus, yeah, that was. And I know. Let me see. What do we got here? Peggy, did you know your Uncle Frank played state at Cooperstown?
Yeah, did not know that.
Didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that had to be cool. How fun would that have been to play there?
Yeah.
States. Wow. Yeah, that's some good stuff. You know what else I was thinking? After Fran Allison, I'm trying to think of here. There was something that popped in my head about Fran Allison that was it Coach Manfred, our coach?
I think he was like the travel team coach.
He was the travel team coach, right?
Yeah,
Bob Manfred. Hey, he was a good coach.
Yeah, he was.
Who did we? Now we played on the same Fran Allison team, right?
Yeah, I think Coach Reed. Remember?
Coach Reed. That's right. We had Jojo Galandi, Jimmy Cassesi.
Yep.
Oh man, I wish I could think of. Geez, I wish I could think of some of the other kids we had, but yeah, that was so fun.
That was fun. That's good.
So after all the nonsense that we did growing up, and all the stories and all the trouble and everything else we caused, you actually graduated, which I didn't, and you went to college and stuff. Yep. So tell us after high school where you went and what
sure.
went on.
So I went to St. John Fisher for just bachelor's in communications and journalism. So I graduated like in 91. And then I got my master's in film and video at American University in Washington. And then I came back and I was looking for a job, and you know, it was a tough time. So I didn't really have a job. So I started working, you know, city recreation department part-time. And then I ended up working in Griffo's office for a while, for one summer in '94, the best summer of ever, because the New York Rangers won the Stanley Cup.
Christ.
It was the greatest summer ever, 1994. So then in the fall, I ended up moving to Florida. I stayed with my aunt down there, and then I got a job at a small newspaper. So I just started working in journalism. I worked at this Venice Gondolier newspaper in Florida, and then I moved to Ohio, where my sister was, and worked for a radio station. And then my boss became the boss of a wire service in Arizona. I went to Phoenix and worked there for a bunch of years. And then I moved back to Central New York in '06 and worked for the Spectrum, what is now Spectrum News, and then started working at Syracuse University as video producer, where I've been since 2007.
Yeah, now that's awesome. Now, during your time there, which is really cool, you had some really great interviews.
Oh yeah,
with some people. I mean, yeah. I tell some of the some of the people you've interviewed.
So it's like I'm a video producer in a marketing division at the university. So we do like promotional videos, stories about students and faculty and staff. So I've got to interview famous author Joyce Carol Oates, Sean McDonough, Bob Costas, Mike Tirico. Let's see, who else did I get to?
Coughlin. Greg
Coughlin, yep. Doug Marone, the coach. I also like run and manage the studio where we have like faculty when they appear like on CNN and other networks. So through that, I got to meet like Coach Marone and Coach Boeheim. But like Tay Diggs, I got to,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Really cool. Vanessa Williams.
Now a lot of these people former alumni from.
Oh yeah, it's all alumni connected.
It's all alumni.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, it's amazing how many. You think of all the famous people and they've gone through Syracuse.
Yeah, they're all really nice, really nice to work with. And like last year we did the video tribute. Sean McDonough got a big alumni award. So we got to go to Fenway Park where he broadcast for the Red Sox. So we got to interview him there, which was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bob asked, did you meet Shaq?
I did. Yeah, actually, Shaq came in. He did the thing where like Newhouse does like a sportscaster week for NBA players and athletes, and they train them how to be broadcasters. So Shaq was there, and he was super nice. He was like looking at our equipment, and we had like a big Mac there, and it was like some graphic station. He told his assistant, like, you got to go out and buy me this over the fall. He was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, also, I mean, this was really cool, and this is something you just did this past year, is you were part of a Christmas Story.
Christmas Story.
Or not Christmas Story. What's the...
Oh, the documentary?
Yeah, the documentary.
Yeah, I'm working on a side project that's a documentary. It's called The Real Bedford Falls, It's a Wonderful Life. And it's basically about the connection between Seneca Falls, New York, and Bedford Falls, the fictional setting of It's a Wonderful Life. Many people believe that Frank Capra, the director, based Bedford Falls on Seneca Falls. And there's a lot of these interesting connections. And one is that people believe that he came to get a haircut in 1945 while he was working on the script for It's a Wonderful Life, and he was influenced by the town. And there's a story with a bridge of an Italian immigrant who jumped off the bridge to save a woman who tried to commit suicide. He ended up drowning. So we've been working on that for like a year. It's going to be like a 30-minute documentary about the connection between the two, which is
that's pretty cool. What do you think about that? You think
it's hard to say, and that's what was kind of interesting in doing the film, is like you kind of like you could believe it either way. And what's nice is I think you can leave it up to the audience to decide. But I mean, I'm obsessed with that movie. I've watched it, since college, every single year. So I just love it. So it was fun.
No, that's pretty cool. I can't wait to see the final production on that. That should be pretty cool. Now, you got something else that you just been doing over the last, little time here with these poems now that you got.
Right. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that and how you even got into that.
Yeah, well, I just have always written like since I was, since early in junior high and stuff, and in high school and stuff. And so when I was working in journalism, I just was trying to do something that was outside, that was creative. So I took a lot of pictures, and I just started writing poetry, and I didn't have time to write like a lot of stuff. So I'd always just have a notebook with me, and I would just write poems, and just started working on it over the years and collected them, and have had a few books published.
That's pretty cool. Now,
Yeah.
you got a couple that you were going to bring tonight and read them to us.
Yeah, so I'll read one, and the two that I'll read are pretty short, and they're both connected to Rome. And the first one's called The Shed. It's about my grandparents' DeCoste's backyard, which had hedges, and it was sort of like Wrigley Field. You know, you had and we were always playing wiffle ball.
Where was that? Was that on
Crossgates Road?
Crossgates Road, yes, I remember.
Yeah. So it's sort of L-shaped, in thin, narrow backyard with hedges all around.
Okay.
And so all the DeCoste's would play wiffle ball. So this is...
I remember that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so this one's called The Shed. Independence Day, late 1970s, Rome, New York. Whipped cream clouds smear a powder blue sky while Grandpa nurses a carafe of Chianti and dreams of waltzing down Bourbon Street. The DeCoste family gathers on the patio with Uncle Fee roasting sausage and peppers and Nana dribbling olive oil over fresh tomatoes, then adding alternating pinches of basil and parsley. Inside the backyard, bordered by overgrown hedges, the rambunctious cousins wham wiffle balls with a thin banana-colored plastic bat, evoking the hollers of Grandpa, who watches out for his mint green aluminum shed, situated perfectly in left center field, serving as our own green monster. And when we get a hold of that little white ball, it smacks up against the aluminum obstacle, clashing like two marching band cymbals in a halftime show. And with sweat coursing down his neck, Grandpa barks out his familiar line under the patio awning. Son of a pitch, keep that goddamn ball away from my shed. But Nana is always on our side and cancels out his power and keeps him in check. Fiore, you let those kids play and mind your mouth, she says. Grandpa abandons his no-win cause, turns up the volume on the Yankee game, and pours himself another glass of red wine. He watches quietly as the shed stands erect in the late afternoon sun, sacrificing its facade for our slew of ground rule doubles.
Man, that's awesome. That's cool.
Hey, you got pissed.
That's great. I could just picture that.
Yeah.
You could just bring me back to those days, man. Oh, that's awesome. That's
Right.
really cool. And what's the next one you got?
Next one is and this will tie into your story after about you and going uptown. So this is called Stadium Nights. It's about that feeling of walking up Pine Street with the stadium noise in the background. Okay. So it's Stadium Nights. Friday nights in central New York. Crumpling leaves are bursting gold and breathing in the October cold as a pigskin spirals tight and shadows collide under stadium lights. Small-town pride surges like an offensive line, bursting open a gaping hole, springing the halfback en route to the chalk line goal. And fathers perched in the stands holler until hoarse and reminisce about the glory days when they wore the jerseys bloodied and mud-caked and walked with shoulders back, receiving cheers as Friday night gladiators. Under the bleachers, first-time kisses are punctuated with quivers and giggles in between swigs of peppermint schnapps. Holding hands means everything, and halftime comes far too quick. The curfew looms as the scoreboard clock winds down. Just 5 more minutes, you say, then head home grudgingly.
Man, that's awesome. Wow. That does, that sounds so familiar.
And that ties in with you going uptown and how even when you were like a senior and all the kids were like 7th graders, you'd always get excited if there was a fight. Come on, friend, fight.
I love the fights. I would be the first one to yell, fight, if there was a fight going on. I was just always chanting them on and stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's great. Brad just put a comment. I think I remember Sean McDonough when he did the Boston Bruins, and Mike Tirico is awesome. Yeah. Great story. I could see that clearly. Awesome. You guys rock. Awesome stories. Good seeing both of you. Thanks, Brad. Yeah. Great stuff, friend, from Bobby Taylor. So now, if anybody wants to get any of your books, Fran, where can they find them?
Yeah, well, they can go to my blog. It's just francisdiclemente.com. And this is the book, the latest book. It's called you can't see it, but anyways, it's called Dreaming of Lemon Trees, and it's from Finishing Line Press.
Okay.
So if you click on that, there's a link right to it under the section books. So
Okay.
go to my website, francisdiclemente.com, and then go
They
books.
can check. They can purchase it right there. Awesome, man. That's pretty cool. That's good stuff. Well, you know what, Fran? We've had a great time so far. Great stories, a lot of fun stuff, man. We could probably talk for hours and stuff.
Yeah, and one quick thing before you close out, the one thing that's nice is, like, you know, in this life, how lucky you are to have a friend for all these years, and we have sort of this connection where it's like I wouldn't need to see you for 5-10 years, and we could pick it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How lucky you are to have that.
Well, you know, it's amazing that when you look at this, how, like, my dad and your uncle were best friends.
Yeah.
And it just kind of carries over in how close our families were.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't even know each other until we first met that day. But going back, our families were known each other for years.
Yeah.
And it's just funny how everything kind of, you know, comes back around and stuff and everything else. And And now you got a family now, and your wife, and you got a son, Colin,
Very
aka
lucky.
Ichiro. I was kind of wanting to see him fly by the back. I figured he'd be running by.
Yeah, sort of like that kid that jumped in front of the BBC guy. You know?
Yep. That's right.
I thought he was going to do that.
I was waiting for it. I thought for sure I'd see.
Yeah,
I thought I'd see him scooting through and everything. But no, that's awesome, Fran. But you know what? Now the tough part comes of the show. Uh-oh. So, Sweet Pea said, love you both. We love you too, Sweet Pea. I'm glad you got to watch it tonight. Now the tough part comes. Now you're going to be entering the penalty box.
All right.
So I'm going to ask you 5 questions. You're going to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Ready for this?
Ready to go.
All right, Fran. No bullshitting now. I want good stuff. Favorite meal?
Favorite meal, I'd have to say, is lentils with ditalini pasta and a loaf of Italian bread. Like, I remember that on, like, Thursday nights in the wintertime at grandmother Josephine's house.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That just sounds so good.
Yep.
And you got to put the bread in there. Got to have the loaf of bread, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Soak up the juice at the bottom.
Yep. It's just like a peasant meal, you know? It's like,
just something simple. We had so many easy dishes growing up. You know, like pasta and peas,
and macaroni, yeah.
You know, hot dogs and fried potatoes with hot peppers on a loaf of Italian bread.
I don't think I ever did that.
How could you have never done that?
That doesn't appeal to me, sorry.
Oh, Christ. Well, then you must have had, you never had fried potatoes with hot dogs and peppers on Italian bread?
No, I don't think I have.
You ever had fried bologna with long hots?
No.
What the fuck? How are you sure?
How's that Italian fried bologna?
It doesn't even. It's not even. It's just. Oh man, that was like.
Okay, question 2.
All right. Colin is sleeping. By the way, Pam said. Pam's in the room. Colin passed out. The little guy didn't get to sleep tonight. All right. Favorite musical band?
Oh, this is hard. This is really hard. I thought about this. It's like the Stones, U2, and Springsteen. But then I thought, if I could only have one, if I had my Sony Walkman and I only had one tape that I could listen to, it would be Springsteen. It would have to be Springsteen.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprised me, because the Stones, when we were growing up, every time I came to your house, you always had the Rolling Stones album playing.
Yeah. Tattoo You.
And then it was U2.
Yeah,
really heavy U2.
Yeah.
But Springsteen out of the 3, huh? Wow. Oh, Peggy said, love lentils, still make them. Grandma D is rolling over, she said. Fran used to love REM.
Taylor. REM's great. That's one band I wish I got to see in concert. I never got to see. Yeah.
I was going to ask you that. This ain't one part of the questions, but if there was one band that you would like to see on your bucket list.
That would be one of them, you know. Obviously, the other one would be Tom Petty, but he passed away. You know, I never got a chance to see him. That would be a great one, too.
Tom Petty would be great.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Favorite author?
Favorite author? Wow, that's tough. That's really tough. I don't know. That would be hard. I have to say probably Jack Kerouac, but then there's another one I really like, so I'd probably say him, Richard Russo. He's actually from Gloversville. He did Empire.
Really?
They made an HBO miniseries that had Paul Newman in it.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Right
he's
from
a really
Gloversville, huh?
great writer, Richard Russo. Yeah,
Wow, that's pretty interesting. Didn't know
yeah.
that. Okay. Favorite sports team?
Oh, that's easy. New
I was
York
gonna
Rangers.
New York Rangers. I kind of had a feeling you'd say that.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
don't know. I don't think we'll ever win another cup, but
Nah, who knows? You never know. They're due.
yeah.
All right. Last question.
All right.
You could sit down and have one meal, and you're going to have anything you want to eat. Who would you want to join you at the table for that one meal to sit down, eat with, shoot the shit, tell some stories with? Who would that person
Yeah.
be and why?
That's hard to limit it to just one, but I'd probably say Martin Scorsese, just because he's a filmmaker and just I think he's very entertaining the way he talks, and I could just see him being very engaging in conversation with.
You have a lot to talk about.
How about you? Who would you sit down with?
I'd probably want to sit down with my dad.
Oh, you see that? Yeah, I didn't even think that. Yeah.
Yeah, it just and catch him up on the last 30 years into this year.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's a lot of stories to catch up on and just have a nice dish of pasta in front of us or a
Yeah,
pizza.
you can't beat that. That's
And just
your
shoot the
dad.
shit on that. Yeah, that would be it. Your sister said, what about Danielle Steele, Fran?
Oh, she's a good writer, great writer. Made millions and millions and millions of dollars writing books. It can't
Not
be
bad,
wrong.
huh?
Yeah, good. She wrote good mysteries too.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I got to thank our sponsors one more time before we go. I want to thank Out of the Way Cafe, Matt Grabsky. He's one of our major sponsors of the show. Matt, thank you so much. Along with John Pappas and Geddes Baker, the Pappas family, another major sponsor of our show. Thank you guys so much. Danti Construction, Zensations, April, and Lou's Bargain Bin, all in Rome, New York. Check them out. Great people here in Rome, New York, and thank you guys for sponsoring the show. But Fran, I gotta say, man, it was fun. And you know what?
It's fun.
We do this whenever you come to Rome. We get together, we go sit, we have coffee, we shoot the shit, and we just catch up like you said, like time hasn't even passed.
It's great.
To do it here and with hundreds of people, thousands of people watching, and kind of hear our story is, because we could talk about this stuff back and forth to each other.
Yeah.
But a lot of people didn't know some of the stuff that we did. I mean, sometimes you don't want to tell them. Sweet Pea, that was awesome. Sweet Pea, I'm getting a lot of feedback from Sweet Pea tonight. See, Sweet Pea's going to be a new fan of the show now, so we'll have to make sure she's watching. But this was just like normal times, man.
Yeah.
Just sitting, shooting the shit. You, Bobby Taylor, another one that I kind of grew up with. Durso, Damage. I mean, it was just, we always had that tight knit group where we could just won't see each other for a while, but man, once you get together, it's just like you haven't missed a beat.
Yeah.
So, Fran, I want to thank you again, man, and good luck. Keep the poems, writing the books and stuff and all that. And, appreciate you coming on for an hour tonight and hanging out with me and catching up on some stories and let the world know what delinquents we were, as your sister Lisa said.
No doubt.
But we had a lot of fun, man. We had a lot of fun doing it. So thanks again for coming on tonight, and you stay safe, and we'll catch up soon.
Okay. See you later.
Guys, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Stay tuned. Sunday, we have a big show coming up. Former Buffalo Sabre goalie Marty Buron, and I'm sure Fran will want to say he was a Ranger at one time. He was an Islander, but he was really a Sabres goalie in his day. So join us Sunday from 3 to 4. See former Buffalo Sabre goalie Marty Buron will be joining me and Ryan for another show. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. If you get a chance, please share the video. Get the word out. People like to watch it and hear our crazy stories. But I want to thank everybody. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you guys on Thursday. Take care.